What happens when someone builds a company that solves a problem that the market was never designed to see? That's the question at the center of this series. 7 founders, 7 companies. None of these companies fit the playbook. They don't look like the startups that get the headlines or the funding. They're not optimizing for the fastest exit or the biggest valuation. They're building in the space between what the market rewards and what communities actually need. And the question isn't whether what they're building matters, it's whether the systems around them, the capital, the infrastructure, and the institutions are designed to let them succeed. This is the Social Venture Studio Founder Series. 7 conversations with founders building at the edge of what innovation looks like when it's designed to serve more than the people writing the checks. I'm Kevin McGinnis. This is the Disruption Lab.
Son, I'm just going to jump straight in. All right. So you grew up in Lykins.
Yes.
You actually have faced housing insecurity as a single mother. And now you're going back to that same neighborhood to build homes on vacant lots for young people.
Yes.
When you drive through Lykins today, what do you see that other people don't?
I see lots of opportunity. I see a lot of beautification that needs to happen. I see a lot of once lived like trauma that I can turn into something beautiful, you know. So just a lot of opportunity.
Is it, um, since it's home, is it uh, an emotional experience for you to do that, especially considering what you're doing now, or is it more of an ambitious thought of wanting to drive the change?
Um, well, at first, in the beginning, when first meeting Gary and going back there and you know, being provided the opportunity of them donating the lot to us for Embrace Your Shine, I did have to do a lot of deep internal work with that because I did experience a lot of pain and trauma in that neighborhood. So I knew I had to heal myself in order to go back and create something more beautiful um, beyond my imagination that I feel like God had given me. He gave me this vision to go back and do things I never thought I would be able to do. So, like on that note, I just, like I said, I don't do it because what I do now, I don't do it because I see like the market opportunity. I do it because I lived it and I want to help other young adults receive a different perspective and knowing that there's more to life than what is there. And that there are people out there that are just like them that care and want to help them get to the next level.
So I want to pull on that thread a little bit. So you're the oldest of 7 kids.
Yeah.
Your
Four
mom,
boys and 3 girls.
4 boys and 3 girls. All right.
I'm the oldest.
Your mom worked 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah.
You've been working since you were 15.
Yes. My first job was McDonald's.
Cleaning commercial buildings,
Yeah.
braiding hair,
Mhm.
raising 3 kids.
Mhm.
I
I was production supervisor for a little bit for AGA as well for a few years.
mean, you had a lot of roles.
Mhm.
At what point did you stop thinking that I need a better job and start thinking about I need to actually develop a system to help people that have had the same lived experience?
Yeah, so I mean, I started working for McDonald's when I was 15, but I was really in the food industry for about 16 years, even though besides all the other stuff I've done. Um, and the last food industry that I worked for them for about 5 months. I don't want to say their name, but I worked for them for about 5 months. When I applied, uh, my sister was the one that was kind of like poking me, like, just go back because I had just quit Kellogg's. I worked for Kellogg's for a while. And I didn't want to go back to the food industry. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. But she's like, well, you need something. You've been out of work for about 2 to 3 months, and it was in the beginning of COVID and all that scarcity and stuff. So I was like, okay. So I went to go apply at the last place, the food industry, or the last food restaurant that I worked at. I applied for the dishwasher position, and they're like, what are you doing applying for the dishwasher position? Because of my resume and things like that, working for the food industry. And I worked for Joe's Kansas City for about 10 years. And I helped them open their Leewood and Olathe location as well. I left as the frontline supervisor. Um, so they wanted to hire me on as a supervisor, basically. And even though I didn't want the position, I mean, it kind of just offered itself to me. And it was a good starting pay. So, and it was better than what I was making, nothing
Yeah.
at that time. Uh, so I took it, right? And then, so being with them during those 5 months, they said they were going to open another location down in the West Bottoms area. And myself and the two other supervisors had the opportunity to prove ourselves to see who would run that new location. Um, but really quick before I get into that story, I actually got hired through them, and the day I was supposed to start was the same day that the city shut down because of the COVID.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't start till like a few months later,
It's one of those days we're all
which,
gonna look back on and say, "I remember what I was doing that
yeah,
day," you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I got hired and kind of fired at on the
Yeah.
same time,
Yeah, no
which
doubt.
kind of got fired on my day off, right? Which is how I like to look at it. But yeah, I mean, I busted my butt for them for about 5 months. Long story short, I got the promotion. Yeah, but the other two gentlemen, I mean, they would go out of their way to kind of set me up for failure. They didn't like a woman coming in and kind of taking over, I guess. I mean, I just do what I do. I can't help it. But yeah, so I got promoted on a Friday. I got the position to run the new restaurant once they were ready to start that. And that was on a Friday. Some things went down on a Saturday and I got fired on a Tuesday. So since then, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take control over my own life. And if I can work as hard for someone else to help them build their business, why can't I do my own business? Right. So, but at that time too, I was really more interested in investments and wanting to know how that worked.
Mhm.
Uh, because someone had planted a seed in me probably like a year before that, telling me like basically like learn how to make your money work for you so you don't have to work for your money. And that kind of stuck with me. So I'm like, so what does that mean exactly? So I kind of chased that for a little while
Mhm.
and did day trading
Yeah, I
and
wanna talk
things
about
like
that in a
that
little
too.
while.
So
Yeah, that's how I met
that hurt
you.
my
Yeah,
heart too.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, when you say when you say you wanna start a business, you have 2 organizations. So you've got Embrace Your Shine, which is the nonprofit, and then you've got Micro Living Midwest, which is the for-profit kind of pair to that.
Yeah,
Um, Most people would have picked one if they were gonna start a business. Why 2? And, you know, how do they work together?
I like doing things the hard way, I guess. Oh my gosh, housing is so hard. Um, Honestly, like in the beginning of 2023, I didn't even know what a nonprofit was, honestly. But because of blowing my account when I did day trading is what really got me into trying to learn more about that and seeing exactly how it was because I had the idea of just before it was Micro Living Midwest, it was KC Micro Campers, and really exploring that area on developing the food truck and our like travel living, right? So, but the more that I learned about housing, I'm like, well, why not create permanent spaces and affordable housing instead of just people on the road? Um, so they kind of just worked out. And but the more that I learned about nonprofits, the more that I realized how stressed out a lot of people were about just raising funds and, having to rely on applying for grants all the time and the application process and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm really passionate about everything that I do and I'm very intentional. So I didn't want to go down the same roads that they went down, well, at least not permanently, or have to fully rely on it. So why not just create two entities where I can intentionally have where the for-profit helps sustain the nonprofit and just kind of build that ecosystem, for them to rely on each other and be mission driven.
So I want to go back to some of the systems change. You said housing is hard. So, you know, Kansas City has thousands of vacant lots. I think if you've ever
Like
looked at the
16,000.
parcel map, it's just depressing sometimes to look at that.
Hmm.
And then, you know, you match that with, you know, there are families in Lykins that need housing.
Yeah.
So you've got supply and demand right there in the same neighborhood. So why doesn't it happen? Like what's broken? And you know, as an outsider kind of coming into this space, maybe it's been easier to see some of these things than somebody that maybe has come up in this space through kind of more traditional systems. So, you know, what's broken in the system today between an empty lot and someone who needs housing?
That's a great question, actually, because I mean, there's a lot of things, and I've met quite a few people that have been working in that area that want to create housing. And like you said, me coming in, what I really just noticed is that either they're not collaborating with each other or there's disinvestment in certain areas because they feel like it's not valuable enough on return of investment down in there, because the average medium income is about 30 to 50,000 a year
Yeah.
per individual or family, which is understandable. But the affordable housing that everybody's definition for affordable is different. So the affordable housing that people are wanting to create are because of inflation rates. It just doesn't fit in that criteria. And a lot of the vacant lots and parcels that they do have down there, they're not build ready either, or they just don't have the ground rough utilities that are needed, like connections to the water, sewer, and electrical. So that's additional like $200,000 or $400,000
So the people with the
on top of
means don't want to build because it doesn't pencil, like it just
it.
doesn't
Just
pencil
doesn't really
out.
pencil out.
Yeah.
So you really need to understand the cash flow of housing and the subsidies that it takes to help maintain that, right? So the past 3 years, I've been trying to figure that out and figure out what the timelines are, and how can we really truly create affordable housing in the same neighborhood that I grew up in that we needed as well.
It's funny for me. I've known you for a while. To hear you talk about the last 3 years, because you referenced day trading. When I first met you, you came in for an angel investment
Yeah.
seminar kind of thing that we were running, and you
Uh-huh.
introduced yourself as a day trader.
I did.
Since then, you've gone through ULI's Ready program, Small Scale Developer Forum,
Yeah.
KCMO Vacant Land Activation Initiative. I mean, you've done the training, right?
Yeah.
You've done all these things. You've been inside some of these institutions and seen how it works. What did you get from those programs, and what do you think is still missing for someone like you that wants to make a difference and wants to do housing?
Actually, I learned a lot. So, I mean, through all of those programs, I really just remained a student on exactly how to become, I guess, a real housing developer of affordable housing, and really understanding like what the city perspectives and what the requirements are to be a developer in that area, but also learning like what some of the hardships were as well for other individuals or other organizations that were kind of going to build there or wanting to build in the Northeast area. Um, and I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
No, it's just, so what you got out of those programs, the training, the knowledge, but then what's still missing? Like, what programs are missing to help someone like you kind of?
What's missing?
And is it
Um,
training and knowledge, or is there something else?
Actually, I think right now I'm all educationed out.
Yeah,
I think
learned enough.
I've learned enough. I've seen a lot of the repeating processes of the education. So I think I'm in a good place where I have everything that I need, where I just need to apply everything that I've learned now. So now it just really comes down to actually raising the funding for the construction costs of these first 6 units that we want to do with Embrace Your Shine. And just finding those people or banks or investors or whoever it is that's willing to take that first step and actually invest into what we're trying to do. Well, I say we, but really me and the whole team. But um, it really just comes down to money, because I mean we can have all the information, all the education, but if we don't have the funding, I mean, how are we really supposed to do it, right? Um, so I'm working with the Housing Authority of Kansas City. He is the co-developer for Embrace Your Shine, which is awesome. We just secured the partnership with them, which was one of the major requirements that lenders were looking for, or even funders as well, because we've never done nothing like this before. So that's been awesome to secure project-based vouchers, which is uh, legit, or what's the word? We've been able to secure project-based vouchers, which will actually pay for the residents to live in these homes, which is awesome. So that's guaranteed revenue, right? So being able to secure that is now more appealing to lenders, because they're willing to let us, you know, borrow 600K
Yeah.
to be the first ones in. So we're coming up with we actually just started talking about this on Monday, and we started our plan to go after the 600K with the list of banks that we have and sending them that information and seeing exactly what we need to secure 600K for a capital stack to go after like the Housing Trust Fund or the MHDC funding and things like that.
Learning a lot about capital stacks, learning a lot about different funding
That was another
mechanisms.
rabbit hole that I had to go down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rabbit holes you have to go down in housing, is what I've learned.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Well, I mean, you're learning an entirely new industry and one that's never
yeah.
been notoriously easy.
Mm-mm.
So, kind of on that note, I mean, you're also the vice president of the Lykins Neighborhood Association. So, so you're not just building the neighborhood. You have a role in kind of shaping the future, shaping the trajectory of the neighborhood. So,
Yeah.
you know,
We've been moving and grooving in the
how,
Lykins neighborhood.
yeah, how does that work? How does the neighborhood feel about? And I don't imagine this is like a negative thing all the time, but how does the neighborhood feel about somebody who's actually, in that role, but then actually developing within the neighborhood?
They're actually really excited for it. This is something different than what they've experienced before. They're just used to people or outside investments coming in and doing what they do and then leaving and not taking care of their properties. So they're not open to having any more type of investors like that. They're very standoffish and they have a lot of walls up with that, but they're really encouraging and excited for the different niche that we're looking to help because there's a lot of excuse me, my voice is going out. They're very excited and encouraging with a certain niche that we're helping because it's different. It's different than just like immediate emergency shelters and people suffering from chronic and substance abuse, which I'm not putting no shame on that or
Sure,
anything like that.
everybody,
Everybody needs help.
there's different
But
segments and niches in this whole thing, right?
right,
Yeah.
exactly, which they all do great work, but what we're trying to do is really create that pipeline to prevent them from getting to that stage. Like, why does someone need to qualify or have help once they hit rock bottom? Why can't we help someone before they get there, right? So I mean, I haven't had no negative feedback so far. I mean, they're really excited, and I'm excited to be a part of the community and them accepting me, so and to help them even because these residents in the Lykins area, they love their community, right? And they want to see it vibrate and expand and be beautified because there's a lot of people that take care of their property, but there's also a lot of outside investment that just comes in and just leaves and doesn't care like they care.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm sure it matters that you're, one of them,
yeah,
and they're on the ground with them. So you talk about the folks that you serve. So I want to do two things. One, talk to me about the actual model. So you're not talking about building kind of traditional homes. You have a different approach to that. I want to talk about the agile piece later, but I
okay,
want to talk about the people you're serving. So tell me
yeah.
about the pathway that Embrace Your Shine really is kind of creating towards home ownership. You talk about hidden homeless. You talk about a certain segment of people that you're really trying to build for right now. Tell me a little bit about that and how you want to develop a pathway for them.
Yeah, so I see it as, first of all, providing stability for them, which is where the housing comes into place. Um, Depending on the circumstance, they'll be able to stay with us for 12 to 24 months. Um,
And who's your
and
target?
our target is young adults who are 16 to 30 who are facing hidden homelessness. And hidden homelessness means they're living in their car or they're couch surfing, jumping place to place, or some of them are even in storage units as well while they're attending college or work. They're a part of workforce training programs, right? So those are the type of individuals that we really want to help, the ones that are putting in the work already, but they just need that extra stability and support to get to the next level, right? Um, and that was more of like the younger me.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, once 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 we pick these participants, they will be chosen from our strategic partnerships, which will be either from UMKC, Ignition Lab, out of Operation Breakthrough, Northeast High School. We've even had conversations with Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Like organizations like that is who we're partnering with. For example, like 46% of UMKC college students actually suffer from housing insecurity,
That's crazy.
which is wild,
Yeah,
right?
that's
It's
crazy.
so crazy. I mean, first generation 4-year college students, 55%. Their retention rate is at 55% for 4-year generation college students, which is even crazier.
Yeah, that's
Um,
you don't think when you think about this population, housing insecurity, houselessness, it's just not the first one that comes to your mind, but it's the opportunity is huge because these are people who've already made a bet on themselves in some other way, right?
exactly. And
Yeah.
they're trying to get their master's or bachelor's degree while living in their car. So like make it make sense. And there's student housing. So I mean, that shouldn't be their circumstance, right? Or what holds them back to really define their future for the better. So that's where we come into place. And so yeah, but while they're staying at Embrace Your Shine, like I said, we'll be creating a plan of action with them, and depending on what path that they choose, they'll have an opportunity, instead of paying rent per se, because we're able to secure the project-based vouchers from the housing authority. They'll be able to use that money to reinvest into themselves, into a savings account where we created a financial literacy curriculum with UMKC students as well, and Dr. Jocelyn Evans from UMKC, who is a part of the block program there, which is Banking Leaders of Tomorrow, is what it stands for, which I'm really excited about that. And even working with the US Bank, possibly on getting them lender ready while they're staying at Embrace Your Shine as well, to be homeowners once they transition out of Embrace Your Shine. So they'll be able to use that money to go towards either their first home that they purchased or towards their business venture once they leave us.
So here's the hard question. You haven't done this yet, right? So you're pre-revenue. You haven't built a house yet. So what's between you and kind of the first house?
What do you mean? Like lived experience?
No, like what's it gonna take for you to have, the first house under your belt, the first,
Oh, I'm willing to
development?
do whatever it takes, honestly. I mean, I've been doing it for this long, and I think I proved myself to people that have been in the game for a while that I'm not going anywhere. So get comfortable with me because, I mean, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
I'm going to figure it out, honestly, one way or another. And I might not know exactly what that is yet, but I know once I see it, I'm going to go for it and make it happen.
And you said something, we've been working through the Social Venture Studio program as part of this series. And you said something about, not being the expert, but surrounding yourself by
Yeah.
those people. So talk to me a little bit maybe about the team and what your mentality has been around how you've assembled the team of folks that you're working with and how you think about that part of what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, I'm not the expert at all. I'm just pretty much the connector. And that's one thing that so this whole time, that's one thing I really enjoy doing. I enjoy networking. I enjoy meeting new people intentionally, and uh, seeing how our missions really align, right? So that's how I chose my team as well, very genuinely. And uh, for example, or actually, I don't know if I want to go back to like before we decided to partner with CCL, or should I, or no? Or actually, I'll just cut that out. We've been fortunate enough to find CCL, who is Custom Container Living, and they are a manufacturer down in Butler, Missouri. Bryce, he's awesome. He's our direct contact there, and they build out these manufactured units. So we'll be starting with 320 square feet units. They've been around for almost 10 years as well. So really excited to work with them because they already have the expertise and knowing exactly on how to build out the shipping container concept is what I really wanted to convert shipping containers into attainable housing. So they've done all that already. So I'm really excited to work with them. Also with IFF, with Araya and Claire, who basically they helped us build out the construction timeline. Um, well, before I get into that, they were actually able to secure a grant as well to help us for free, Embrace Your Shine for free, to figure out how to do the construction timeline, help with the beginning stages of our performa and the financial model and things like that. So they've been awesome. And they're basically like the owner reps as well on this project. Also worked with, we're working with Nueva, who you're familiar with Retta and them, which I was really excited about their merge together, which is awesome because they're also from the Northeast area. And that was one big thing too that I wanted to do, was work with people within the community, right? And people that are mission driven as well,
For sure.
not just anybody. Because I've come too far to work with just anybody that doesn't align with what we're trying to do,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, so really excited with them to do all the site preparation work. They've been in the game for years as well. Who else are we working with? We've had our legal team, Alex Gilmore. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the legal service. His name is Alex Gilmore, and he's done a lot of the pro bono legal stuff for us, like the land agreement transfer and things like that, which has been awesome. Also, I'm forgetting my team right now.
It's all right. I mean, I think it's interesting to see you find those gaps and bring that talent to the table versus, always trying to figure it out yourself. A lot of solo founders, they're stubborn and they just want to do it all themselves,
Yeah.
or they want to learn it all themselves. And
I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't want to do it myself. I never wanted to do it alone, So that I think that's why I would network so much, to really find those people who were meant to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Even the housing authority, like I would have never thought, but we just align and they're interested in wanting to see exactly how they can help make this work, because a lot of obstacles and barriers that we were facing as being new to the game and never doing anything like this before. So I'm so excited to work with them. And then, I mean, I'm not even going to get on the developer fee. Like they even lowered it like tremendously.
Yeah.
To make it happen. So, which has been a true blessing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the benefit to your model, and that people understand, and when they get to know you, they understand the mission, right? And so they want to support the mission.
Just even having the land donated, like that's wild, and all the pre-development costs too by Monolith Properties, like, and Gary now being the co-founder of Embrace Your Shine, he's one of the first people that truly believed in me and the niche that we're trying to serve from my own story. So
how much has that meant to you to keep going, like to have this stages where people have stepped forward, and really through their actions validated what you're doing, or indicated that they believe in you as the person who's doing this?
It's meant a lot, honestly, more than I could probably even be thankful or grateful for, honestly. Ask me 3 years ago, I would have never even thought like this would even be possible, but I just kept going. I don't know why. Because it's hard, but I mean, I just knew I had to keep going, because if I was able to secure one thing, why give up now, And it's bigger than me, so it's not just about me, it's bigger than me, and I realized that.
You describe the construction method as agile construction. And so you talked a little bit about CCL, like the prefab modular aspects of this. What does that mean in practice? Like, what's that look like? Why is building off-site important to the model that you have, and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I learned that Kansas City has a gap of like 64,000 affordable housing units, right? And the target that we're going after, which is the starter home concept, I guess you could say like the missing middle, which people are kind of scared of that word too.
Sure.
They don't like to hear that. But we make up about 14% of that almost, right? So it's very important for me to just kind of focus on that and how I can grow and scale that and create as much affordable housing as I can, but also providing equity within that for the people purchasing these units, right? But on the micro living side, on the micro living Midwest side, having CCL build offsite and micro living Midwest building our site preparing um, is huge, right? It cuts down a third of the time and cost, overhead cost, anyways, and it's also a, a faster return on investment as well. So I think those were a lot of green boxes that we could check because we'll be able to grow and scale at a more rapid pace, but also being mission driven. It's just like a win-win scenario in my mind, anyways, even though I haven't technically done it yet. But to me, it's a win-win scenario and having, hey, they're skilled at doing everything offsite. So while they're building those units offsite, we're preparing the actual site for them to come and deliver. All we have to do is seal up and do utility connections. Um, so how can we create that model and be replicatable and kind of just expand and grow from there, or scale and grow from there?
And so these are shipping containers.
Yes.
Yeah. And so is it as easy as just dropping them on a site, dropping them on a piece of land?
I wish.
Yeah. What goes into that?
A lot.
When you talked about site preparation, things like, what's that mean to the average person?
Site preparation. So site preparation is like doing all of the environmental surveys and doing the water and sewer and electrical connections, pouring the foundations and things like that before they actually come and deliver the actual unit to the permanent site. So, I say teamwork makes the dream work. So whatever we can do to kind of get out of this traditional construction building phase that is delaying a lot of the affordable housing um, here in Kansas City, why not? Why not do it and make it work?
So you talk about your first Embrace Life cottage development as being 6 homes, right? But you've talked about a target number for kind of what you've kind of set your sights on. What is that?
Some people are telling me that I'm not realistic, but it's okay. I say this is the first 6 of 500 that I plan on doing within the next 10 years.
And so, solo founder, no construction background, no real estate development experience before you went through, ULI Ready or anything like that.
No.
And you have a big vision.
Yes.
And it sounds like someone has said previously that maybe that vision's too big. What do you say to that?
Watch me make it happen. I'm like, what is realistic? Well, like, everybody's definition is different. Sky's the limit, right? So I know if it's for God's will and He's meant for it to happen, then it will happen, and He will use me to make it happen. So.
And is the model itself what makes this maybe more realistic?
I think the model that we're building out right now, being a replicatable model, I can make it happen. I might even make maybe 3,000, 3,700, who knows, within the next 20 years. So, like I said, sky's the limit. So having this replicated, I'm intentionally creating this to be a replicated model so it can grow and scale at a really rapid pace.
So for the neighborhood, so 5 years from now, you're successful in delivering, even a fraction of those homes, these Embrace Life cottages on these vacant lots.
And they honestly don't even have to be Embrace Life cottages. It could be with other institutional partners that we come across and partner with, like the Housing Authority. They might even consider, or the Land Bank could even consider, our other nonprofits that want to create supportive housing.
And this is the benefit of having Micro Living Midwest as a as a developer, a development arm, and having embraced, like, you have programming on one side, but it doesn't have to be your programming. It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
your partnership.
it doesn't have to be the partnership. We're willing to help make it happen on the development side as well for other organizations and not just our own.
So you've dropped several hundred houses, or you've dropped, 100 houses in the next 5 years or something like that. What changes? Like, this is a woman from the neighborhood, a woman who, grew up there. Um, what changes for Lykins if you're successful in 5 years?
What changes? That's a good question. Honestly, I never thought of that. Like, what changes? I know for sure that there won't be no more vacant places or lots uh, to do illegal dumping for prostitution and drug dealing. Um, Sometimes there's gang wars, they use those vacant lots, or, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in that area be done with just things that are just sitting there, and not providing any type of value. So I know it would clean up a lot of that, a lot of those things that I just said, and providing more value and beautification to the people that do care about the neighborhood and want to see something come out of it that's better than what they're used to, because for a very long time, growing up in the Northeast area, like that's all I seen when I would come outside. I didn't know anything outside of that, right? So for a long time, that was normal for me. And I think us being able to develop at this scale, that vision or that view will no longer be normal for a lot of people in that neighborhood, which I'm excited to see.
How important is it, and how much thought have you put into how you select residents? Like, the people you're bringing into the neighborhood, not just the homes that you're
Yeah,
bringing in. So what's that been like, and how do you think about that?
that's been hard for me because we can't help everybody.
Hmm.
Um, so right now with the board that we have, we're still working through that. To be honest, to see exactly like who is that person that we can help be the most successful once they are selected to be at Embrace Your Shine. Um, because if it was up to me, I'm like, if they're all living in the car, they can all come,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. You got
But they're like,
six
no,
homes
calm
to
down
start with.
now,
Yeah, yeah,
so we're still working on narrowing that down with our strategic partners that we have right now. Um, so stay tuned for that one.
yeah. Okay.
I can't really say. I mean, I could tell you what I would like to see, but I mean, I can't really say because we haven't really narrowed that down yet. And we have a board meeting on Friday. So hopefully we can kind of get through that conversation this time and
Um,
narrow it down.
I want to talk about entrepreneurship a little bit more. Like, what's that? You are one of our co-residents at
Mhm.
Keystone, and so you're surrounded
Very long
by
time. How had
you're
you like me there?
you're it's been great. You're surrounded by entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah,
What's that experience been like for you?
it's been awesome.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about, like, what that's meant to you.
It's been awesome, honestly. Walking in, I would have never thought walking in that first day meeting you for the angel thing, like that wouldn't be the last time that you see me, because I think you haven't been able to get rid of me since then.
You're like a bad penny. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just, yeah, keep showing up.
Yeah, I would just continue showing up, and I think if it wasn't for Keystone, I probably wouldn't even be as far as I am today. I've met so many people there. I met Eli there, who introduced me to Gary, who's now
I didn't know
co-founder.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he connected us, just talking to him about the campers I wanted to do, and Gary had like this I don't even know what to call it, but like a shack that he built behind one of his industrial buildings that he would put, because they own Big T tents as
Hmm.
well. So they're a tent company
Okay.
service. And he built like a homeless shelter out of it. I can't even, I don't even know what to call it, but it
Yeah.
was just like it was a tent that he sprayed foam on it, and
Oh,
he
I
put
remember
a
him talking
little,
about this. Like,
yeah, he put
yeah.
like a little heater in it with a door, and he would have a homeless person stay there during the winter time so they wouldn't freeze. and he was just so excited about it, and it was over 80 degrees in there, and that's kind of like what he wanted to replicate, and that's how we kind of aligned. But I'm like, Gary, we can't build those everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, but we need to really come up with something, that's efficient and code compliant, and but yeah, that's just kind of how it kind of started with my lived experience and the shack that he built behind the industrial building, and wanting to, help the homeless. So
So
yeah,
learning not just housing and real estate, but entrepreneurship at the same time.
yeah, and at Keystone, it's very unique because everyone is like-minded, right? So we can all lean on each other and help each other or empower each other or just bounce ideas off each other. So it's a great support system as well. And it's a great networking opportunity also. And just, I mean, I'm always learning something new there. I'm always meeting someone new as well. There's always food. So definitely,
We feed you.
I
Yeah.
like to eat. So yeah. So
What's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur, in your opinion?
everything. Um, Honestly, like I love being an entrepreneur. It's hard, but I love it. Um, I wouldn't change it for anything because I believe it's made me who I am today. And, really getting into entrepreneurship, I wanted to really figure out like how I could, working for someone else since I was 15 years old, like I always worked 12 to 16-hour day shifts, right? And I have 3 kids, and that took a big toll on me. So I really wanted to figure out how I could provide for my children physically and financially and no longer have to choose between the two. So becoming an entrepreneur has given me the opportunity to create my own schedule. And I mean, it didn't pay like how it used to pay in the beginning, and my kids kind of hold it over me still
I
to
was going
this
to say, what
day.
do the girls think about this? Like,
We've
what do they
done
think
a
about what
lot
mom
of
does?
growing together, because I used to just give them everything that they wanted, and plus they see more of me now too, uh, for the most part, and they weren't really used to that as well. Or working from home, they're not used to that either. So they're like, "When are you leaving? Like, are you going to work?" Or,
Suspicious of
it's like,
that when they say,
or can I have this and that? I'm like, no, we're falling on a budget right now, So there's been some bumps in the road with that, and them trying to adjust to, all the sacrifices that I was willing to make. They didn't always agree with it, but I think now they're starting to get a little bit better about it.
do they understand what you're doing? Do they understand what you're building?
Yeah, for the most part. Um, Now them wanting to be involved, that's a different story,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
But
choice.
I think my youngest daughter is more open to it, and I think she is the one that will lead, um, with entrepreneurship in her life as well. My other two, they want a job, and which is it's great, but
Mhm.
I mean, whatever makes you happy, I'm here for it. But please support me as well in my decisions. So it took them a little time to kind of accept it, but a lot of my family thought I was crazy for a while, and they're like, "What are you on something?"
Was
Or
that the entrepreneurship piece? Was that
the
the
entrepreneurship piece,
okay?
because
So
I mean, I had a townhome. I sold my townhome. I had a 2019 Toyota Highlander
yeah,
that I drove. It was 6 miles on it when I drove it off the lot. I gave that mug back. My kids were with their dad for a little bit, and I was just willing to sacrifice anything to figure out on how I could become my own boss and bet on myself. Like, but that was really when I hit rock bottom in my life too. So I was trying to figure out how, like, what my purpose was in life, like, who am I, and to love myself again. And I was going through a divorce during that time too. So I was just really trying to rebuild my life from the bottom and figure out like why am I really here, right? So and I think doing Embrace Your Shine was really my calling and my purpose. And I went through all of that to come back and help people with the same situation. So
so somebody out there is going to watch this episode that's thinking about starting their business. What advice would you give them? Like they're just starting from an
It's like
idea.
I wouldn't recommend jumping in with both feet like I did.
Okay.
So that's why I created Embrace Your Shine to help, relieve some of that. But I would say bet on yourself, There's only you can only you know exactly what you want to do and what your desires are in life. So go for it with all your heart and all your might. It's not going to be easy. Um, but
What's
as
the
long as
first step you would tell someone to take though? Like betting on yourself is one thing. That's a mental state and a mindset, that kind of thing. But what's the first like thing you would tell someone they need to do if they're thinking about doing this?
pray about it. Pray on it first. Pray on it first. I would say pray on it first.
Okay.
hmm
Okay. Um, anything else we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
Um, no, I think we kind of touched everything.
I mean, it is.
Not that I can think of.
I will say, from the first day I met you to now, it's been fun to watch your journey, and I know it's been hard. I've
Yeah.
witnessed that as well, and I know that there's a lot of people in your corner that want to see you be successful, not just because of what you've put into this, but because of what you're trying to accomplish and
Yeah.
the need, and especially that missing middle piece, the hidden homeless, some of those types of things. So thanks for sticking with it, not just for yourself,
you.
but for the community. I think it's important. So,
Thank you.
and when you get the first cottage done, can we like take the podcast through a walkthrough?
Yeah.
All right, you
I would
promise?
love that.
All right.
Walk through. You can do whatever you want.
All right.
So if you want to be there from start to finish, that's fine with me too.
All right. Very
So
cool. I want to do
that'll
that.
be awesome.
I want
Of
to
course,
take.
you have to be at the groundbreaking.
I want
It
to tell.
wouldn't be a groundbreaking without you, Kevin.
All right. I want to take everybody through when you get this done and,
Yeah.
and show them the work that you've done. So
yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here and thanks for sharing your story. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Cool.
Thank you.